try to escape, it's futile! Do-do-do-do-do-do-do! Do-do-do-do-do, musical do-do!
SpongeBob couldn't stop singing. Not wouldn't, couldn't. His voice echoed through the halls of the Krusty Krab. His eyes twitched. His smile never left. Day and night, he sang the same exact tune, Musical Doodle. At first it was funny, then it got weird, then it got terrifying. What no one realized was that there was something inside him, a real creature, a worm, crawling around in his brain, feeding off the song and making him sing, over and over and over. This wasn't just SpongeBob being SpongeBob. This was possession. Bikini Bottom didn't know what hit them. Even his friends backed away as he slowly lost control. His body moved on its own. His mind? Gone. That's when it hit. What if this is what obsession really looks like? When something small takes root and refuses to leave. This wasn't just an episode, it was a warning. And we missed it. He destroyed the Krusty Krab, stayed up late, danced himself into the ground, and had to be brought to heel by his own friends. It is because of a song that all of this happened. Not a villain, not an enemy, just a tune, musical doodle. That is how compulsiveness can get. And what's worse, it spreads. Since when the nightmare was over for SpongeBob, the nightmare started for Squidward. And you might not be immune to it either, if you are not careful. This isn't, just another funny SpongeBob episode. Earworm is quite a scary thing if properly described. It is a lesson embedded in bright colors and catchy music. A story on how it all begins, a beat, a line, a thought, obsession, but then it grows. It feeds on your brain. You try resisting your way, but the more you resist, the deeper you are digging in. Not long after, you are no longer the person you used to be. It all began when SpongeBob heard the song Musical Doodle in the radio while he was working at the Krusty Krab. At first, it seemed harmless. He hummed it, drummed on his foot. We've all been there. But here's where it flipped. The lyrics very literally said, "Trying to stop it is futile." That's not just catchy, that's creepy. It is as if the song knew it was a trap, so that it sounds like it was meant to seize control. And SpongeBob? He was the perfect victim. Since then, he could not stop. The song went around in his head on a loop. He sang it out loud, danced around like a madman. He even stopped working. The Krusty Krab was thrown into a state of anarchy. Confusio N of customers, frustration on the part of Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob. He looked happy, but broken. The worst part? He couldn't see it. Obsession does not always present itself in the form of sadness. Sometimes it looks like joy, forced joy, the kind that hides fear. But then came the real shift. SpongeBob stopped sleeping. His eyes got baggy. His room became a mess. His body moved, but his mind was gone. It's like the song had taken over. And that's when Sandy stepped in. She called it an earworm. Now here's where it gets deep. In real life, an earworm is when a song gets stuck in your head. It's harmless for most people, but when it turns obsessive, it can affect your sleep, your mood, and your brain. Sandy and the others tried everything to help him. They played new songs. They distracted him. Nothing worked. SpongeBob would return to Musical Doodle like a moth to a flame. The song was in control now. This wasn't about music anymore. This was a monster living in his head, a parasite feeding on his obsession, and then they physically restrained him, wrapped up, trapped in his own house. Think about that. A group of friends had to tie someone down because a song turned him into someone else. But here's the twist. Nothing helped. Nothing until Squidward played his clarinet. That awful sound finally pushed the earworm out. Literally, it crawled out of SpongeBob's ear. And for a moment, it looked like things were back to normal. But then the final scene hit like a punch in the gut. The earworm slithered into Squidward's head, and he began to hum. That's when you realize the true horror. Obsession doesn't end. It just finds a new host. Now let's step back. What was this episode really showing us? On the surface, it's a goofy story about a catchy song. But underneath, it's a mirror. A warning about how easy it is to get lost in something. Whether it's music, social media, a person, a trend, once it grabs you, it doesn't let go easily. And the more you fight it, the stronger it feels. The lyrics of Musical Doodle say it all. You'll start to lose control. A victim of the Musical Doodle. That's not just a rhyme. That's a diagnosis. The episode is using the humor, but the message is not humorous. Obsession starts with something small. A thought, a sound, a curiosity. However, if you let it grow, it would be a part of you. However, what happens if that part begins to ruin everything else? It has actually played out in our life as well. Songs such as Baby Shark, Gangnam Style, Friday, they were not mere music. They were movements. Some people loved them, others couldn't stand them, but they couldn't escape them. They were everywhere. That's how obsession spreads. That's how your brain gets hooked to culture. The SpongeBob episode exaggerates it. Naturally, in real life, earworms do not come out from the ears. But the effect? It's not that far off. The way it takes over your thoughts, disrupts your day, and takes your focus away. It is real. It's not about music. It's about addiction to anything which possesses your brain and doesn't ask for your permission. And here's what's terrifying. Sometimes it feels good. That's the trap. Obsession appears to be passion in the first place. You think you're just excited, just interested. You say it's harmless. It is just a song, just a show, just a hobby. But it gradually becomes a necessity, not a want, a need. And when you need something to work, to help you feel okay, to make you feel alive, that's when you're in trouble. That is eyes when the worm's in your head. And it is not going anywhere anytime soon. What makes Earworm episode so powerful is that it doesn't overdo the idea. It does not make it a monster with fangs. It makes it something we are all familiar with. It starts small. SpongeBob listens to song on work shift. He does a foot tapping, a bit of a humming. It's catchy. He laughs. We laugh. But it doesn't stop. That he starts to hear one of those melodies in his mind, melody, over and over. Even if he prefers the M, he is silent, it is there. He pretends not to know about it, but the louder he denies it, the louder it becomes. Until he is not in charge anymore. The song is. And it's not just mental. His body reacts too. He dances against his will. He can't sleep. He destroys the Krusty Krab. It's like he's possessed. And yet, no one is treating it seriously until it is already too late. That's the scary part. Since obsession is ever normal, until it's not. This episode takes us through each one of the steps. Curiosity, enjoyment, dependence, loss of control. Then comes the intervention. His friends try to help. Sandy tries rescuing him from it. Some songs are played to distract him. None work. It has to take an awful clarinet playing by Squidward to make the worm come out. And for a second, there is relief. SpongeBob is back. He's free. However, the episode does not stop there. Number it concludes on the most disturbing note, since now, the earworm has a new host, Squidward, the calm, sarcastic one, the one who is always rolling his eyes, the one who's never impressed. He hums the tune once, and you know what is next. And that's the point. Obsession doesn't die. It just moves. It finds someone else, something else, a new form, a new face. Maybe the next time you have a song that you cannot get out of your head, perhaps when your brain can't be switched off, perhaps when you can laugh it off as if it is nothing. Pause and ask yourself, is it just a song? Is it something more? Since once the earworm gets inside, it does not come out without a big struggle, and sometimes it wins. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe and comment.